What's up, TCS? I'm the Colonel. This is one more quick Frisbee video. I want to talk about when you're throwing the disc in a game. We talk about when we're warming up, we want to make sure that we throw fundamentally and start to build our muscle memory and build our habits properly. And so as we warm up in the beginning of class, making sure you're stepping properly, you're making good pivots and throwing with a lot of control is important, because when we get in the game and you've got a defender on you, it's difficult if your whole warm-up was you just sort of walking around and throwing. That's not a good way to play in the game, and so we build those things while we warm up, because when you've got a defender marking you, your options become much more limited. And so for this demonstration, just to put something in your mind, we're going to say that this big light here is a defender. And so if this defender is guarding me, you see that I don't have the normal throws that are right in front of me, but what I do have, and what a lot of times we forget about, and even I forget about sometimes in the chaos of gameplay, is that we have a pivot foot. And so remember, your pivot foot should be whichever foot is not the side of your disc. So if you're right-handed, your left foot should be planted on the ground and your right foot should move. And what this lets us do is, this is the longest point between my toe and my hand extended to this point. This is as long as my body can possibly get. If I plant my right foot as my pivot, I can't get as far away from my pivot, so I can't make as much room, and you'll see why that's important here. So when we start to throw, what you want to do is plant your pivot foot, and you'll see that your mark is in front of you. And really easily, I can step to the side, and I'm way around my mark. There's no way that their hand can come all the way over here. I am wide open to throw as much as I want to any of my teammates over here. And at the same time, I could come over here and do the same thing. I could throw and be wide open, because I can step so far away from my pivot foot, I can get wide open. And so it's easy to get in that mindset when you've got the defender on you of like, oh no, they're covering me here and I just don't have many throws, they're right there. But always remember that they're not magic. Your defender can't shut down everything, and so all you have to do is step away from them. And as we start to get better and better, you're going to realize that, let's say I know I want to throw this forehand. I know I've got somebody open that I can throw this great forehand to. What I may want to do as a thrower is come over and act like I'm going to throw my backhand. And when I do that, my defender is probably going to scoot over and try to stop this easy backhand. So by coming over here and holding it here, my defender is probably going to scoot over, and then I know that I can make one step, and now I'm wide open with all this space to throw this throw without any interference from my defender. And the same is true on the other side. If I know I've got a little backhand throw I want to put, I'll sit here and get ready to throw, and my defender's gonna come on over and stop this easy throw, and then I can turn and throw on this backhand side and have a nice easy throw. So remember, when you're out there, when you're on the field, plant that pivot foot and use it. Really step away from your pivot foot, keep it planted, but you've got a lot of side-to-side range that your defender cannot cover. And my favorite little drill, if you want to push yourself a little further, this one surprises me still time and time again. But let's say my pivot foot is planted right here. We'll say my pivot foot's right here, and I've got this defender, and they're spread out here, and we'll say that the stand here is as far as they can reach to their left. So they're probably standing here where my pivot's going to be, and they can reach all the way over here and cover that. If this is my pivot, I can stretch all the way out here and still be around them. I've got a lot of motion over here that I can play with and still come back here, and if they're all the way over there, I'm wide open over here. But one thing to do to practice is take a chair, take a studio light if that's what you have around, or stand by a tree and start to step further and further away from it, and do it on both sides. Well, let's say they're reaching all the way over there and my pivot's here. I know that I can step and still make it around them. It's a big stretch, but if I start to get into that mindset, it's going to be really, really hard for any defender to stop my throw, because I know I have this side-to-side range that is really, really difficult for the defender to cover all of. So put that in your head when you get the disc, when you're on the field, there's a lot happening, but remember, hey, I've got a pivot foot, and I can step to the side over here, I can step to the side over here, and I can get open on either side. And lastly, once we start thinking about that pivoting, when it makes sense where, let's say there aren't any good options downfield, and what we want to do is dump it to somebody on our team that's behind us. So we're not trying to throw downfield, we're just trying to reset the stall count so we have more time. A lot of times when we're first getting started playing, we've got this defender on us like this, and we need to throw it behind us. And so what we do is we keep our feet planted, and we just sort of turn, and we throw this weird throw with our body twisted around. And it's important to remember that if I'm trying to jump toward the camera, and I've got my defender in front of me like this, instead of turning awkwardly like this, I'm gonna commit and pivot all the way around. I can face this, and my defender's completely behind my back, and I have a nice, easy, open throw. My body's not twisted in any weird way. So use your pivot to line up your throw to make smart throws, and that same thing we're talking about with warm-up. When you step the proper way for your backhand or your forehand, do that with your mark and realize that you've got a lot of opportunities on the field to make really easy throws. It's just about slowing down a little bit and thinking about it. That's it for this video. I'm the Colonel, and this is TCS Ultimate.